everybody, my name is Osha with Cr3ative Event Studio. Welcome to Creative Talk Part 18. So we made it down to Part 18, and today if you are just not joining Creative Talk, I want to tell you all a little bit about Creative Talk. Creative Talk is located here in Montgomery, Alabama. It is show on my YouTube channel. Make sure you go like, share, subscribe, share my channel with many others so they can get on this train of Creative Talk. So Creative Talk, business and balloons, where we make it our goal to bridge the gap between client and business owner, where we will network, where we will connect, and we will give Q&A questions, overview, business highlights, especially in our surrounding area. And then also a platform where we allow surrounding business owners to come on, talk about their business, their service, their product, and so that we can connect with the buyer, right? So for Creative Talk today, we do usually take a question from outside of our Q&A box, and we're going to address the question. But first, let's talk about creative events. So Cr3ative Event Studio, located in Montgomery, Alabama, 1401 Federal Drive. We do everything from event rentals, event decor, event planning, wood and balloon design. We also are mobile outside of our own venue site. So if you have any questions about event industry, about your event, how to set up, how to book with us, how to reserve with us, how to get rentals, you can check out our website, www.cr3ativeventstudio.com, and then you can also call us on our phone, 334-591-7435. Also join all of our social platforms, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, of course, and Instagram. Also join Google, where you can be able to see many of our visuals that we post online, so that you can be able to review them if you ever experience our services, and also be able to share, and also be able to make the decision to book with us. Okay, so let's talk about our Q&A question on today. So what are we focusing on this week for our Creative Talk Part 18 once again? And so the topic is, what is your time requirements for setting up mobile decor? So as a professional and having experience in mobile decor, where we go to different sites, whether outdoor or indoor, there are certain requirements that we have to make sure our client are aware of, and so they can be able to notify the people they do in the venue with. But also me as a professional, I do like to contact the professional, whether of the venue or whatever site it might be, so we can be able to, so I can make sure what are the requirements of the client, and so I don't want to be surprised on the day of and things like that. I want to make sure that I have what I need and what I have, and that the site is also providing what I need, what I have, especially if the client did not, it's something that's not what's in contract and stuff like that. I just want to make sure to kill out the middleman. I just like to make sure also myself. So the question, what's your time requirements for setting up mobile decor? And this is a post that I semi-posted online up on one of my other videos, up on a mobile decor that we had set up at another spot. So you want to make sure the topic, the overall topic, is that you want to make sure you consider time management. You have to learn some time management skills. We often talk about time management when it comes to, oh, I can be off this day, I don't have to go in this day. You have to be, people think, when you become an entrepreneur, it relieves you of the duties of keeping up with time management and having developing those skills properly and effectively, but it do not. It if anything, it makes it more of a requirement, more of getting a handle on that time management skills and staying on top, organized with that. All right. So with those time management skills, because you want to make sure you have smooth transactions. You want to make sure that between you and the client, you able to create this atmosphere of flow. without all the disruption, chaos, and things like that. You want to make sure that the flow and the experience and the atmosphere is what you desire, and that you have control of it as much as you possibly can. Another point is no one likes to be rushed. So you need to focus on time management skills. Of course, there might be some hiccups in between. You can't control everything. Mother Nature might happen. Climate, any type of other element might come in between that. But you want to have some type of plan of order where you would be following and your team would be following as well. So you don't want to be rushed, because anything being rushed, it will cause friction, it'll cause frustration, and it'll bleed into your work, it'll bleed into your craft, it'll bleed into how you talk to people, the tone, how you talk to your team, how people first impressions of you. Because sometimes, usually when you are approaching a site where you're mobile, there are other people there who may be setting up, or even the person who opening the building for someone, well, for you to come in and decorate, things like that. They have never met you. So first impressions means a lot. First impressions, everything. And you don't want to be where you've been rushing and stuff, and it changed the tone of your body language and your tone, how you talk and how you perceive your brand to them, because they never met your brand, they never experienced your brand. So it's all in one, right? So I'm gonna give you some tips you can include into your next mobile decor, the process of doing your next mobile decor, on some things to help with your time management skills. So I'm gonna give you 4. So for the first one, you want to, for a faster setup time, you want to include, number 1, your travel time. That could be your distance to the venue, unforeseen obstacles. So, even before you go for on your event day, you want to make sure you have already maybe visited the site on your own time. I try to, once a client books a mobile decor, if I'm not familiar with the building, especially, even if I am familiar with the building, something could have changed as far as how it's maybe got renovated, or maybe added some things and stuff up in there. And so you want to go and make sure that you have the proper equipment, that you have the proper items that you need, so you can bring and execute your client's vision. So you need to go and pre-visit that site and check on inventory, because even at the same time, clients might tell you what they have seen in other pictures, or maybe even seen your video or picture, but it's nothing like going to physically check up on it yourself, kill out that middleman, so you can be for sure, and so that you can be able to guarantee your event being a success for your client. So, and also another thing with that distance to venue, like accidents may happen, traffic stops. You can't control those things, right? So you do want to give yourself ample amount of time to try to get there. Say, hey, if it takes you like 15 minutes to get there, you have to take into consideration what time you went and visit that, because different times of the day calls for the traffic light may be delayed more than usual, because it might be more traffic during a certain time of the day. So you want to take that into consideration. So you want to give yourself ample amount of time to get there to your destination, to try to avoid those obstacles as much as you possibly can. Number two, unloading, removing your equipment, etc. In the beginning, I have had the experience where a venue might be limited on time because the client has not got the ample amount of time. And what I had to learn how to do was I had to delegate that from the beginning, where I would say, hey, because it's all depending on the various needs of the client. If you're going in with maybe balloon installation, or doing just a focal area, of just going in for rentals, like a little drop off and pick up type of service that you provide for the client that day, you might not need so much hours. But if you're going in with full decor, where you have to get all the equipment, the hardware out of the vehicle or your transportation, and then you have to go set up the put them in, put all your items in, just back and forth. You have to be able to include that into your time management for your business. So instead of a client saying, hey, I only was able to pay for 6 hours, they only give you an hour to decorate. That's the point right there. When you be like, depending on what your client needs, no, I need 2.5 hours. And you will be able to know that because of the repetitious times you had done mobile events, or the equipment that you might have, or the manpower that you might have. You want to make sure we enter in and consider those times of the manpower, the equipment. Especially a lot of us event planners are just women. We don't have much men for muscle, so it takes us a little longer. So you want to be able to include that. And one of the things is that too, I have learned, if you go, you give yourself ample amount of time to get there, ample amount of time to take out your equipment, even if you took out your equipment by the door. Or sometimes if you get there early, there is someone there, like a janitor or someone who's opened the door, who already be there or might be already in the building. They can let you in. So that's why that's number 2 on working on with your time management skills. Number 3, the layout with the room. That's your tables, chairs, furniture pieces, those things. So a lot of times when the client is booking a building, a mobile building, the building do not have the tables and chairs already out on the floor. You have to go pick them up, take them out. And so that is another reason why to go visit the site before your event day, so you can know what you're working with. So because everybody does not have the same inventory, right? So with the inventory, some of them have the older model tables and chairs with the real wood. They are heavy. So you want to make sure you have the manpower to help you pick them up. Or you make the decision of you having contract where your client has to make sure they have either people there, or making sure the venue put these tables and chairs out. Sometimes I do ask the venue to make that a requirement to have these tables and chairs out for me as a courtesy. But once a client go do business with the venue first, it's certain things they don't pay attention to, because I guess they don't have to be bothered with it, because if they paying someone to do it, they don't have to be bothered with it. They don't have to be bothered with it. But if it's in your clause up front to make sure these things is done, and if they want your services, they will have to make sure someone is there of manpower to make sure, or to help you get those tables and chairs down. Because sometimes some of the chairs be stacked high and stuff like that, and it be taller than people, and you don't want nothing to cascade on you. So it makes sure if those are concerns with you and affects your time management and affects your time, especially if you explain to the client, well, if it's not done, it adds extra time for me to get the job done with completing your setup. So you're going to have to go pay more. And a lot of times they don't want to go pay that extra $100 or stuff like that for the venue. So they will make it work, okay? So take in consideration for you, your business, your time management, because you're still going to be looked at if you're not done in time. You're still going to be looked at not being done in time. All right, so that's number 3. So number 4, the last one I want you to take into consideration when you're doing your time management skills for your mobile decor. All right, the 4th one, guest count versus the client special request. So you do want to take in consideration, it does matter when you have 30 guests versus 60 guests versus 80 versus 100 guests. It matters to your time management, especially if you have your manpower. You know your team better than anyone else knows your team. Everyone on your team have their strength and their weaknesses. All right, everybody know what job they got to do. If you don't have someone who is efficient, have a good go and a good flow, and know how to put those, whether say for instance if you're going to do chair covering. Chair covering is time consuming. It's a time consuming job. So if you're going to do chair covering, especially chair covering for a large amount of 60, 80, 100 people, you have to have that type of manpower. You have to make sure you have enough time management time in there to get those done, because just chair covers alone can be anywhere up to 30 to 40 minutes just for doing it, and that's be up to like 2 people doing it. So you have to take in consideration for that. And I say if it cannot be done where you have to add more manpower to cover that, because because it's not, you don't have enough time, I say charge it on your decor end. Charge it on your decor end to compensate for the people you had to add to your team so that you could be able to get this event together. So also consider that to your time management skills. So today, Creative Talk Part 18. What is your time requirements for setting up mobile decor? So that's how you determine or get the basics on what time you should be, a minimum of what time you should be requesting of your client when you're doing mobile decor, and demanding that is nothing less than the minimum, so that you can be able to effectively execute your event. So those 4 things you want to take into consideration. Again, travel time, you're unloading, removing things from your vehicle, the room layout, just in case tables and chairs are not out, you need to make sure you include that, and your manpower. And 4 was the guest count and versus your client's request. Some events are more than others, depending on the theme, depending on the color scheme, depending on the special requests, like champagne walls, furnitures, depending on carnival stands, things that require more weight lifting, couches, thrones, marquee letters, numbers. Those are extra things that you have to take into consideration for your time management skills, because you got to hook those things up. Things that require connection, lighting, cords. You have to consider all of that in your time management skill and your time management process. So build on your time management skills. It will help strengthen your how fast you execute and complete and install your items for your next upcoming event. Until then, make sure you like, share, subscribe, share with anyone else who wants to get into the event and industry. Make sure go binge on them other videos for Creative Talk. And if you want to be on this platform, just DM me. If you got a question about this video, comment under this video here, and get with me for your next event, girl. King, do it for your girl. All right. So until next time, be creative.